Hello and welcome to Let's Talk about how often top international sides play each other. I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, and clearly the thing that has triggered this one is the whole palaver we've had around England facing the All Blacks in November and how that isn't going to go ahead. So England last played the All Blacks back in when was it now? Gone blank, I should have it up, shouldn't I really? Anyway, a long time ago. There's something like a 4-year gap between, 2014 was the last time they played. And they're not going to play each other till 2018. So it's a 4-year gap between two of the top nations playing each other in rugby. One of the things that people have been talking about a lot over the past few years is that the top international teams play too much and they play each other too often. So we always talk about this it always comes up every November when the November windows come round. And they talk about the loss of the mystique and how less special it is now when the top Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere sides play each other. So I thought I'd have a quick look at the top 4 sides, so New Zealand, England, Ireland and Australia. Maybe that's not the right order, but anyway, and how often they've played each other recently and how often do we think they should be playing with each other. It's going to be a bit more freeform today. For those of you live watching, please do comment and let me know your thoughts about or questions about how often top sides play each other. Your input will be much appreciated. If you're watching the replay, then please feel free to tweet back to me. I love a conversation. And if you're watching on YouTube, obviously there are comments below. So England last played New Zealand in 2014 and they'll play them again in 2018. One of Clive Woodward's things when he was preparing England for the to win in 2003 Rugby World Cup was that he said they needed more experience and more exposure to playing these top sides. So clearly that's not a good thing for England if they're not going to play New Zealand in 4 years. But if we look at England against Australia, if we take out the 2011, which was a Rugby World Cup year, England have faced Australia every single year since 1997. So we're getting on for 20 years where England and Australia have played every single year. I think it's probably it's going to be unprecedented, I'm pretty sure about that. So where's the balance? Because that obviously does remove a lot of the mystique around that game. But the other side of it is it does build rivalries. And obviously the rivalry between England and Australia is very strong on a number of fronts. It goes back obviously with the Ashes, etc. In cricket. So in some ways it kind of works to build up rivalries, but obviously it also reduces the mystique or specialness of these games. When England do host New Zealand next year in 2018 at Twickenham, it will be a very special game, a much sought after ticket. So you have to give away your firstborn to get a ticket to that game at Twickenham, even though there's 80,000 people going to be there. So it is I don't know. I don't have an answer for this. I'm just sort of bouncing ideas out there because it's something else that came to me. If you look at Ireland, they've played New Zealand pretty much every other year. They play a bit more frequently than England have done. And against Australia, Ireland again play them on a fairly regular basis. So 2016, 2014, 2013, 2011. So most years they play Australia. Now, I guess there are 2 sides to this. One is we want to see these top clashes. We want rivalries. We want these rivalries. We want people to have these exciting games. But also we want to let Tier 2 teams get more games. So there is a double-edged sword to this. If we're saying that England and New Zealand should face each other more often than once every 4 years. When I looked at 2016 numbers, so I wrote an article back in February 2016 saying how to win the Rugby World Cup and showed that South Africa, Australia and New Zealand weren't playing a Tier 2 nation at all in 2016. And one of the things we talk about with Tier 2 nations is they need better teams to improve. So to a certain extent, how good your team is reflected by the teams you play. And so that's if South Africa, New Zealand, Australia are only playing tier 1 teams, they're going to be strong tier 1 teams. Whereas if England and Ireland are playing tier 2 teams, so Ireland obviously, Ireland went to USA and Japan last June, for example, then they're going to be a lesser. Oh, sorry, no, Ireland are going to USA and Japan this year. They were in South Africa last year. Sorry, wrong way around. But if they're playing against weaker opposition, then they will naturally become weaker because they're not used to playing harder teams. So I say it's a double-edged sword, and I am struggling with this one as to how often. I do want to see England play New Zealand meet more than once every 4 years. They're great games to watch, and so I want to see that happen. But I also want to see the tier 2 teams get more exposure and get more games in. So if anyone has an answer out there, please let me know as to how you think, how often these top teams should face each other. I think it should be more than once every 4 years, but I'm not sure that playing the team every single year, like England and Australia have done for the past 20 years, is the right option either, because I don't think that is giving space for other teams to grow. I've a natural feeling, I don't know why, but intuitively, once every other year seems to be about right to me. And I'm just going to bounce this, do some numbers here that I haven't actually thought about first. But if you look at teams, if we look at the top tier teams, they basically have about 5 to 6 games in a set competition, like Six Nations, the Rugby Championship, that aren't going to change, and that should be set. And then the tier 1 teams play between 10 and 14 or 10 and 15 games a year. So that leaves you with about 8 to 9 games, or a maximum of 8 sort of games, to spread around other teams. So if you were to split that half and half and have 4 against tier 1 and 4 against tier 2, and it's not going to get anywhere near that high, then you could play all the other tier 1 nations once every year, and you could also fit in room for the tier 2 nations. I think asking each tier 1 nation to mandatorily play 2 tier 2 games a year would not be excessive. When you look at those numbers from that point of view, you'd still get to play all the other tier 1 nations at the very least every other year if you wanted to, but you'd then also be expanding to other things. So I think intuitively it feels to me that the top tier teams should be playing every other year to maintain those rivalries, to give us the special games, the big games that we want to watch, to draw the crowds. But I don't think, I think playing every year is too often and is stifling the game and its expansion. So I didn't have an answer coming into this, but there you go. I've managed to come to an answer by talking to myself. If you have a view, please do let me know. If you're watching live, do comment or tweet me back or put it in the comments in YouTube. I do love a chat about rugby, and we'll get back to you on those. Please do sign up to my newsletter. Watching on Twitter, the link is in the title above. On YouTube, it's in the notes. And if you've liked this, do share it. It has been a bit of a ramble today. I promise it'll be more structured tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think I'll be talking about what is killing Super Rugby. There's a whole bunch of different issues around that that I want to bring up and talk about. It's not just about the structure of the game. And finally, if you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. That's also nice as well. Do help spread the word. Thank you very much for watching my little ramble today. We'll be back to normal service tomorrow, and I think it's going to be, I will probably be talking about what is killing Super Rugby.